the lost.
It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary. To the sweetest girl I know in Tipperary. So it's goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary. But my heart's right there.
Long way to Tipperary indeed, and yes, for some, no way back to Tipperary at all. So to the lost, Yeah, Tipperary and the whole. I think these fellas would probably consider that a bit of a different topic, right? Goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square. So this is a song in the essence of like Irish being incorporated into the British fighting force during the Great War. But this is not about that. So I am carrying on with my attempts, right? And I hope this works out and becomes a regular, more or less regular thing. So I will be recording spoken word and poetry pieces and publishing them on my channel, right? And if you like them, it's really cool. I hope you do like them, and I hope you do watch them, right? I have decided to try this format in addition to just the simple traditional textual format, and I also intend to use the material. Well, sounds like that. Well, the pieces thus produced during the spoken word and poetry slam events. I participated in 2 poetry slam events this week. This was first time ever I did that, and both times I did perform, but it was spontaneous. Both times I was late for the sign off. I wasn't ready on Monday. On Thursday, yesterday, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I was late, and it didn't even make any difference. The crowd was just massive, which was really, really cool to see. There were many people coming to perform, coming to support the performers. And apparently the plan I had in mind was too long, right? So actually what I did today, I'm gonna read a prose piece today, a story basically, which I wrote some time ago, and I edited it today, trying to bring the length of it, the size of it down, right? And no matter, I did do quite a bit of work on it, right? There was a lot of redundancy built into it, and the editing work is kind of like an art form in a sense. But so I did manage to bring it down substantially. Yet it is still between 11 and 12 minutes, right? It's not that long, but still between 11 and 12 minutes, which is a lot, right? Your average open mic position would be 5-6 minutes, right? So I was really trying hard to bring it to under 7, say, minutes, maybe 8. But no matter what I did, like after this, like I struggled with it for I think at least 3 hours. Like it's basically at the level, as far as I'm concerned. I would appreciate critique, of course, right, in the comments. So, but I think it is at the level where I can't really cut anything without making it kind of a different story. So, right. So that is the challenge for me right now. But I think with the new pieces, especially poetry, right, I think I will adapt to the format of 5, 6 minutes, and They say that some of there are events which give more time to performance, 10 minutes, say, which would be sufficient for me to read what I intended to read yesterday, the original poem by Sergei Shadan and my translation, which I published here as well, right? So that would work. So that was the intro, already 5 minutes. I'm really sorry. So that's it. I wanted to take it out of the way. So the piece is called An Irishman in Berlin. I hope you can hear me all right. I did a check and I think the voice carries over pretty intelligibly. And yes, I don't think I need a special mic. I mean, I will probably get a proper mic at a certain point, but right now I feel that I am able to convey what I want to convey without additional mic. So I hope that this is so, right? This is how it sounded to me during the check. So I am going to be delivering just like that, right? And without further ado, let's go right into it. Like I said, the piece is called An Irishman in Berlin. Say a lad decides to move to Berlin. Why move? Well, there could be plenty of reasons, really. Say, to begin with, the lad wants to escape. He's young, he's fed up with the life he has to live, things he has to do, nasty things perhaps, things turning wanting to escape into more of a needing to escape. Naturally, a question of where to arises. Why Berlin? Well, the lad has heard about it. It's supposedly cheap. It never sleeps, and you can get it by without speaking German, which is a big plus. Besides, he has a buddy living there for quite some time now. So one day, just like that, the lad packs a backpack and goes through the door and off to the train station, never to return to his hometown again. That lad is you. You want change. You want fun. You want experience. Oh, you will have all that aplenty in Berlin. Believe me. Well, you arrive, you settle in. You even start on that German, which you don't necessarily need. You start to that experiencing thing. At first, due to and by the simple fact of living in the city. But then one day it dawns on you that experience is not just something which happens to you. No. Experience, it's something which changes your perspective and helps you to grow. You can't remember when was the last time you considered something like this at all, like in that similar fashion, so to speak. So you try to be a touch more open as a result of that, to follow up a bit, right? Although slowly and with some minor adjustments to begin with, quite conservatively. Then you keep at it, learning life through living, tuned in live, more and more often to this here city of Berlin, broadcasting 24/7. Your German has advanced steadily, despite you not really putting all that much effort in it. So something like an appointment at the local Bürgeramt, or a task of ordering a pretty a specific configuration of a burger from a local eatery is a challenge no more. So you consider picking up a few German language fiction books, something with potential to enrich your language with the C2 level sophistication, but also to improve the understanding of the city and the country themselves. Your 83-year-old landlady recommends a book by a guy named Hans Fallada. You learn that Fallada was one of those Germans who saw early and with clarity what sort of shit show his country was becoming. He had a chance to flee with his wife. The legend has it that there was a boat arranged and the car waiting to take them there. The suitcases were obviously packed, everything was put in order, but old Hans often decides before the embarkation for the foreign lands to take the last stroll around his neighborhood. I think the Russians and the Germans are particularly prone to this ill-timed type of nostalgia. Upon coming back, so the tale goes, Fallada cancels the whole thing. Imagine how his wife felt. He canceled the whole thing and is dead set on staying. Could not imagine himself a German writer living and working abroad, apparently. Stands to reason somehow, you think. But hold on. The question hits you then. What the hell are you doing in Berlin? Coming on 3 years now. And then strangely, with unexpected clarity, you are able to admit to yourself a simple fact. You are not feeling comfortable there from before, but you do feel reasonably comfortably here now. In all fairness, you can't say that reading such stuff as Fallada, for all its honesty, can be easily waved away. So that's something which should not be reckoned with or can be just forgotten. No, suddenly you can't help but feel slightly less comfortable living in the city. Fallada invading your thoughts almost daily, as if to bring into the questions on your own decision. Yeah, that decision of almost 3 years ago. The German, unable to refuse the helpfulness of your landlady. That's what the Germans can be like that. And then you want to be a nice guy anyhow. She's an old lady. So unable to resist, you find yourself then in temporary possession of a volume by Kafka. You read his work before at school in English, a long time ago. The German, though, in Kafka's books is so twisted that you form a strong suspicion that even the old hag herself is having trouble with it. And besides, what little you remember of English version combined with what bits you're able to pick from a German one do nothing to improve your mood, quite the contrary. You notice the themes of history and justice entering your thinking more and more often, and what's worse, in a rather absurdistic and confused fashion, not with clarity. Fallada's sad as fate, rather painfully absurd when considered in the context of Kafka's disturbing text you've been reading, seem to affect you with surprising severity. Truly, nothing good ever comes from books. What the hell were you thinking in the first place? So you fall back on the fundamentals. You start attending an SV Astoria boxing gym at Gesundbrunnen, a boxing school dating back to the beginning of 20th century with quite a tradition behind it. You reckon that in the city of clubbing, there will always be need for security or for bouncers. You work hard diligently, you read your Dry Kameraden by that time. Another one of your landlady's recommendation, but a book, an idea for which occurred, it seems, during one of the rare moments of clarity she experiences from time to time. It is dismal still, but it is a much, much lighter and straightforward read, and you even enjoy it, at least initially, to the large degree. The whole crowd seems to be cheering and having a good time, drinking, much in the fashion of your fellow Irishmen. But then towards the end, the lass just often dies of TB. And that's it. It's just like she's just often dies and then leaves you completely unbalanced at that point. No wonder that you have taken to drinking too. At one of the old establishments within an easy reach from Gesundbrunnen, on your way home from the gym at first, and then increasingly just for the sake of it. This does help to a certain degree to numb the existential angst you have inadvertently acquired. But you do understand, you understand full well the need for some sort of action, for something, anything, preferably something stupid, to be done. Something has to be done to take your mind off things. Especially because of late, some of the dark thoughts, better forgotten thoughts, started penetrating into the bright days of your life more and more often. The thoughts which did not manifest themselves, the thoughts which were almost gone for all of those 3 years, now are sometimes occurring in the pure light of day, with great intensity and causing you profound distress. The scenes emerge of being back to then, standing with a crowd, a part of a more decisive radical group, carrying weapons, ready for violence, almost wishing, yearning for it, just like you did back there at that other times. Yeah, you did, you and the boys, and the incredible speed of violence, of action, the beast let off the leash and taking charge, the confusion in which no one knew who hit whom in the end, and the people just falling on the ground, some of them bleeding, many of them not making it, as would be reported the next day by the local newspapers. So something has to be done, and you think of something symbolic. Your thinking, admittedly, had changed quite a bit since coming to the city of Berlin. So you think about what could that be? Something not obvious, something perhaps even ridiculous. And then you take a move outside your comfort zone and hit the nearest barber shop. You just stand at the doorway and stare at the Turks busy with the customers. You're there for what seems like an eternity, hardly ever saying a word. And when one of the chairs finally becomes vacant, you demand, sitting down, a short haircut and a mustache. You hate the mustaches. You detest them, especially since they're so ubiquitous among young German men. who seem to wear them as a norm, as if adding insult to injury, with with those vulgar, very tight and narrow biking shorts and a ridiculous biking caps with small flap, which always has to point up. You admit, without being proud about it, that on one or two occasions you had a strong desire to kick such a fella into the side of a passing bike, without any form of warning or provocation. Just kick him off, sending him to the ground, and then rough him up a bit, maybe by kicking, or just like take his bike and like throw it up on top of him for a couple of times, just to feel better, which is obviously, as it becomes clear to you, not the right way to live. So barbershop and the mustache, yes, the one you detest. So now you are finding yourself sitting comfortably in a barber's chair, having your facial hair attended to. It feels good, it feels surprisingly good. Yet, no fucking way I'm gonna be wearing those slick gay bicycle shorts that you think. No way, no, not that. You start to calm down, you start to relax. You're ordered a cup of tea by a burly Turk who starts to chat you up. Perhaps sensing your anger and the fight in you, he offers you to try a few stints as a bouncer. And depending on how it goes, perhaps this could become a permanent thing for you. You are genuinely moved by the offer and the whole attitude of the salon, and you accept readily. The club you're offered a job in is called Tresor. Of course, you have heard about it, but you've never been there. The Turk, who introduces himself as Asif, is not the one to beat around the bush. And he commands you to show up at the club at 10 p.m. right the same evening, having himself to attend some business before arriving there. He draws you a map and gives you instructions. You are to show up at the gate of the club and basically wait for him, Asif, telling if someone would cause trouble to you from the staff members, that, well, you're waiting for Asif. It's the way it is. You should have no problem there at all. The journey turns out to be a relatively easy one, and on the street and consulting your map, you notice already the crowd gathering about and mingling. You do as you were told, like stand next to the gate. Although it's still early for the club to open, a small crowd of people are sitting and standing in the vicinity, drinking beer, smoking spliffs, chatting, and looking generally cheerful and very much at ease. You can clearly make out the staff, Turks mostly, but they are just as chilled as everyone else, and nobody challenges you. Perplexed, you realize that the sense of comfort of which Falada, Remarque, and Kafka, the fox, have robbed you, has at that very moment returned. And your body's filled with the sense of ease and confidence. Arif arrives about 15 minutes late. He waves you over and gives a quick introductions all around. You are given a pretty cool Tresor t-shirt, and while you change, the banter among the old-timers is about the crowd tonight expected to be especially massive and rowdy. You have no way of telling if this is a genuine warning or just a way to fuck with a newcomer. But you feel strongly that whatever this is now, this is the beginning of something new in your life. So you brace yourself and get ready to give it all you got. So far, the whole setup feels extremely good. And you think you can handle it. You actually think you will be quite good at handling it. Well, congratulations, my Irish friend, on your new bouncer job at the Trésor. Good luck. God bless. And every one of you, congratulations for listening. Well, yeah, it is 25 minutes, so it did take longer with my introductions and all, right? So I'm going to end with a bit of a musical piece.
Oh well, we have to make it to Dublin day to escape this persecution. Oh, we have to make it to Dublin to reassess this destitution. I'm sorry I was so pharmacophobic, but you had me in a shock. Take it easy, my best friend, but come soon I will join the flock. And I know you're out this summer, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Now I'm going to turn you down this long Dublin road. Never turn your back on anyone, I don't want to be alone. Now I'm going to turn you down this long Dublin road. Out up from the Aussies where the splendor slowly dies. An old man stopped in ragged splendor, knowing well where this road led. It's all the same undone, this road's the same until you're dead. Three keys and lock your heart, me boy, to find what really matters. It's all that you'll be left with when you run yourself to tatters. Dad, I know you're out there somewhere, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Now I'm running tired down this long Dublin road. Never turn your back on anyone, I don't want to be alone. Now I'm running tired down this long Dublin road. Out up from the Aussies where the splendor slowly dies.
Well, I guess that was my homage to the Irish, right? And then again, a toast to the Irish. Unfortunately, I don't remember. I did know it, but like, yeah, I need to brush it up. The Irish Gaelic for that, because well, I don't know how you, some of you Irish would perceive it, but I think that Irish are different kind of Ukrainians, and Ukrainians are just like different kinds of Irish. Our nations have so many similarities in anything, starting from historical destiny, like the fact that our both peoples were subjected by the ruling nation, the Brits and the Russians respectively, to artificial famine to exterminate ourselves. The levels of death and immigration were comparable in millions, right? So starting from that, going to the fact that we were quite often controlled and occupied, right? And to the fact how we drink, yeah, and then the drinking culture, and the fact that we still like to sing when we drink, and we have Ukrainian language, and you have your Irish Gaelic, I met this lady, the Irish lady at the poetry slam yesterday. And I was just like sitting there listening to her complaining about her state. And again, I think this is also the same. Like, this is exactly how Ukrainians would complain about their state, right? It's so yeah, Irish. I have a lot of respect for you. Now we are, well, I mean, so we're in a very similar historical situation, right? You have part of your territory annexed for quite some time by the Brits. We have now parts of our territories annexed by the Russians. Not so long, but still. Now we are even similar in that, you know? So, yeah. So, To Ireland. To Ireland. Aryan country, by the way, and Gaelic being, if I'm not mistaken, an Aryan language. One of the old ones, old stock Aryan language. But whatever. Why it like this is not why I guess this is part of why I like Irish. I just like stuff like that, whatever. So, once again, cheers to Irish, glory to Ukraine, long live art, literature, poetry, performance, theater, and may those who have suffered and died throughout the conflicts in the world right now rest in peace. And be kept and forgiven by the absolute, by the Lord. Namaste.